Welcome everyone to Dark and Light. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys over 15 of the best base locations that I was able to find while looking around the map. Now, if there's any locations that you think I may have missed or just did not find, let me know down below in the comment section, guys. If we can get the coordinates of it, we'll write them down in the description so everyone can see that as well. Alright, so here we are at the map. As you guys can see right here, there's the human city, we have the elf and the dwarf. Now, these little blue marks, guys, these are different bed spawns, and if you look on the far left of my different altars here, I have 18 different locations I'm going to show you guys today that I think are good base locations. Now, right now in this game, there currently is not an actual functioning map. This is pretty much it. There is a spell you can cast, which does look cool, but I just thought this looked better. It'd be a lot easier for you guys to actually find these locations. So with all that said, let's start with number 1. So here we are flying up in the sky, as you guys can see here. This is our first location. It is up on a big cliff. There is a lot of room to work with, which is why I like it. As you can see, I do have some little things down there. I was messing with some stuff the other day. But if you build a small base up here and you keep it small, you have a lot of room for creatures to store up here. Now, there is only one way up here, which is right there. As you can see, it's pretty steep. You do have iron ore and copper ore that spawns right on top of this location as well, going all the way down there. And then right down there, I think, is your closest access to water. So this location is actually pretty decent, especially for starting out. Like, if you can get here right away off the start, you're going to be pretty set. But there is a little bit of land on here that is flat. It's kind of where I have this stuff built right now, as you can see. Now, you probably could build it bigger than what I have right now. I'm sure you could. But it does go all the way over down there as well, but there's really nothing down there. That's basically the end of it. So there is location number 2, as you can see on the map there. It's highlighted. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to spawn me in the circle or like where the actual altar is. I'm assuming it's where the actual picture of the altar is. So here we are again. This is a huge cliff that you build on top of. There is only one access point, which is right there, the direction we are facing. Now, just for reference, you can see there is the Dwarf Kingdom right there. So we are pretty close to the Dwarven Kingdom. But I really think this location's a really good spot to build. It'd be very hard for people to raid you by land, that's for sure, because there's, like I said, there's only one way up here. And it's this little narrow path, which you could just spam with stuff all the way down the path as much as you wanted to. Now, the actual location itself is quite small, so this might be like a better spot for a smaller tribe or a tribe that's just starting out. And I really haven't seen many actual resources when it comes to iron and copper and such, but there has to be stuff around here. It's a big mountain. I'm sure there's stuff around here. But as you can see, the path is kind of winds down there, and you end up down there, and it works its way down the mountain. That's why I really think this spot is a good spot, especially to start out in. So guys, this is location number 2. Let's move on to number 3. So here is location number 3, as you can see highlighted there. Again, it's by the little Dwarven Kingdom. So here we are. This is location number 3. As you guys can see, it is huge, just incredibly big. You do have a water source up here, a lot of stone, a lot of wood. You are basically on top of a mountain. I know it's getting a little foggy up here. Get rid of that fog. So there is this path up right here. As you can see, a little dirt road coming up here. Now, if we come over here, as you can see, the path comes over here and does come down here. And right here is another great spot to build a base. It looks very flat to me. I wouldn't actually mind building up here, honestly. And then up here, guys, this path starts leading back down the mountain. I know it's foggy, it's a little hard to see, but that path is basically goes back down the mountain. But this spot is still very good. It's very flat. You have water up here, a lot of stone, a lot of wood. There's a lot of flyers that spawn up here too that you could tame as well. So this is location number 3. Let's move on to number 4. So here is number 4, guys. We're starting to move on to the volcano now. I know some people probably think it's crazy to live on the volcano, but some people actually like that challenge and enjoy it. So this is our first location on the volcano. Alright guys, so here we are. As you can see, it just spawned in here. I'll let it load for a second. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of room to work with here. This is just a huge spot. It's very flat right there, right where I'm facing. It'd be a great spot for a base. You even have mithril spawns above you. Look at that. Look at all that mithril ore right there. And down here, you can have all your tames, whatever else you needed. And the only way up here, guys, that I have found so far is right here. This little entryway right here, which leads down to the water. And just down that path right there. You can see there's the water. You can go that way too and branch off. But this spot, by far to me, is probably one of the best spots so far. And that's really just because of the size of it. You have access to a lot of different types of ore here, a lot of different material. The only thing you might have issues with at some point is wood, but that can easily be solved. So this is location number 4. Let's go on to number 5. So again, this is our second location on the volcano, so let's spawn on in. Now this location is not as big as the last one at all. And if you do build up here, guys, you will be blocking a lot of mithril ore spawns. As you can see, it's all it spawns up here. But here is the path coming down. It's this little narrow road going down to the water. As you can see, it goes right there. If I turn back around, you can see it's extremely flat. It's not huge, but there's enough room to work with. You would definitely want to come here once you had another base set up, obviously, because it'd be very hard to get resources to start here. But honestly, this would be a great place too for farming mithril. And if you come right over here, you can see where that path is coming up there. If you come right over here, again, there is another decent location right here. I think it's a little bit smaller and not as flat to build on, but it is a second location that's right on top of it, so I thought I would mention it. So this is location number 5. Let's move on to 6. So here we are. This is our final location on the volcano. So this is location number 6. As you're noticing, a lot of these locations are off the ground. They're up on cliffs. And this is just so there's only like 1 or 2 ways to get up there. So it makes it a lot harder for people to raid you, but it also makes it a lot harder for other creatures to come and destroy your base as well. Now this area is not as flat as the other two, but I still think it's a great location because you could build right here in the back of it. As you can see, like, this is actually pretty flat. You do have some ores up here as well, different material. And it's a pretty big fall off down there. And now the only way to get up here, guys, is actually right here. And this is, again, why I wanted to mention this because I think the spot is really cool just because of the entryway. So here we are, and this is the entrance to get up here, is right here, this big hole, which I think is so cool. You have like a natural wall. And then right here, guys, you could even, if someone was like attacking you from right here, you could even build something in here and just have it to where, like, you know, you can shoot down at people. There's just so many possibilities for this location. So this is location number 6. Let's move on to number 7. So here we are, guys, location number 7. All right, here we are again. This is location number 7. You can see we have some copper ore already spawning here. Now resources might be a little different here. It might be a little hard to get resources here. But I thought I'd mention this spot just because, again, it's on the end of the map. You have access to water right away. And there's only one way people can attack you from. So you could really just put up like a wall from like that rock that I'm looking at right in front of me and just go straight over and cut across the other cliff. So you can really determine exactly how big you want your area to be for your base. Is it the best of locations? No, obviously not. But there's just a lot to work with here. I mean, you can even come down here. This is probably the better option, especially like for bigger tribes. If you're a big tribe, this might be something you want to look into. You see where this cliff is right there, where that cliff starts right there? You could come straight across and go right to that cliff and connect it, and then think about all the land you have to use. There's a lot of flat spots in there. You can have multiple buildings, a bunch of your creatures inside. It's a really good location probably for bigger tribes that are probably already somewhat established. I don't know if I'd want to start here, but really though, just like the potential of what you could have here for a big tribe is just crazy, especially because that right there, that screams like Archer Tower to me or something like that. And then have your base right there, maybe in the straight back, and just have all your creatures in front. There's a lot of possibilities here. So let's move on to our next location. So here is location number 8. Now this location is actually the location that the tribe I play with on official server started in, and it's actually a very good spot to start in. So this is location number 8. Now if you're just starting on a server, I would highly recommend starting here. This was one of probably the best spots we could have started in. You do get a lot of foot traffic coming here though, especially if you're, because this is like the elf side. You can see the elf city's right in front of us there. And it's only like a 30-second walk to get down here. But you're on the edge of the map again. There is copper ore that spawns up here, along with stone, wood. You have basically unlimited amount of basic resources. Could you make like your actual main base here? Of course you could. Right across there, that mountain over there, there's actually quite a bit of copper and I believe iron ore as well, but I think it's mainly copper. And then right behind you, obviously, you have the floating island, which also has different types of material too once you can get up there. So if you are just starting out, I would definitely come check out this location. So let's move on to the next one. So now the location number 9, guys, is on the floating island. So here we are on the floating island. Now I have seen quite a few people actually building up here and wanting to build up here. I would recommend only building in this spot that I have right here, this little island in front of me. And I thought this would be a great spot because it's actually, this is the furthest off the map I think you can get, honestly. The land's extremely flat. The only issue you would have is getting land downs up here, obviously. Now, if you tame the dragons, I'm assuming you could pick up most of the stuff and get it up here if you really wanted to. I'd probably make this base just to keep all my good stuff. Like, this is where I would dump all my good armor. Anything that was good I didn't want people gaining from me in a raid, this is where I'd put it, is on this island. Because if we come over here where the actual floating island is, you will see you do have other ores up here. Like there's iron right here. There is a lot of resources on this island if you have a flyer to get around with, for sure. As you can see, the further we get away from it, it starts getting foggy and stuff as well, which is another bonus because I just don't see people really going out there because it's at the edge of the island. and mainland's that way. Now there are obviously other spots on this island that you can build this floating island, but that was definitely my favorite spot over there. So let's move on to our next location. We're exactly halfway right now through our base location, so let's continue on. Number 10 is right there, guys, right by the human city, as you can see right there. So here we are. This is location number 10. Now, I do know there's ruins here. Obviously, I can see that. I know some people are probably not going to build here because of the ruins being here, but you can build around them. I've seen people build in them. I don't know how you do build in them because I know you're not supposed to be able to, I believe, but I have seen it done on the official server that we play on. Oh, there's a big dragon with the basket. Apparently, it's going to land there. I've only seen him once, and it wasn't during the day. He looks really cool. So what I would recommend is trying to build around the ruins if you do build here, because you have a ton of iron and copper ore. There's only one way up here, which is this path right here. As you can see, as it goes down there, you can see where it's going. Now, there's not a ton of room here. This is probably be good for a smaller tribe, or if you're trying to get into metal and get stuff started. Because like I said, there's just a lot of copper ore and iron ore here. It's all over the place in this location. Now, you cannot build on top of the ruins. I do know for a fact that you can get foundations placed down inside of it, though. A little tricky to do, but it is possible. So let's move on to our next location. So location number 11. There we are, right there, as you guys can see. I would go off the altar. Don't go off that little glowing circle. Go off where the altar is. I think that's way more accurate than the circle. So here we are. This is location number 11. As you can see, it's not huge. There's not a lot of room to work with. This is, again, it's before a smaller tribe getting started because there is a lot of iron nodes up here. The land seems pretty flat to me, I think. And then again, there's only the one path going down, which is right there. And you just work your way down this little cliff. Now, I think the closest water source would either be the swamp, which is right there, or this pond, which is right there. Especially if you are a smaller tribe or maybe solo and just don't need a lot of room to work with, but you want to have all the basic resources around you. I thought this would be a good spot for that. But let's move on to our next location. So here we are, location number 12. Again, base this off the altar, not the glowing circle. So here we go, guys. This is location number 12. Now, this location is fantastic, as you can tell. This is extremely high up. We're actually right there, guys. There is the human city right in front of us, and there's the big human statues right there. So if you need to try to find your way over here, that's how you can find your way. From the human city, come to the big statues. As you can see, there is a lot of ore up here, but the land is extremely flat. There's not a ton of room, which is okay, again, for smaller tribes. I still think you could build a decent-sized base here and still keep a decent amount of creatures up here as well. The land is really only pretty flat right in here for a good small base, and then it gets kind of hilly, which you could build on pillars, obviously. But this is the only way up here, is right here. And as you come down here, this could all be used for creature storage. There's a lot of room down here to build with as well. You can see, like, right there's a good spot. You get rid of all these rocks. You could build down here. And you could just decide when to block it off, and so people can't walk up here. This is probably one of my most favorite base locations right now, because you're basically at the peak. There's really nothing else higher around you, and anytime someone was coming on a flyer, you'd see them from a mile away. It might be a little hard getting up here at first, but if you could get a flyer, you could just cruise right on up here, hopefully get the spot before someone does, or maybe you'll just try to hike it up here. So let's move on to our next location. So now we are on location number 13. So here we are, guys. This is location number 13, and this is right on top of the city. As you can see, there's the Elf City right below you. But this location is huge. If you're able to clear out these creatures and all the stone, this would be a perfect spot for a base. There's only one way up here, which is this little narrow path again. I know most of these locations are up on cliffs like I mentioned, but I just think these locations are just perfect for bases because it just keeps people out. Now, honestly, I'd say the closest water source would probably be right there on top of the city itself, and you'd probably have a lot of new spawns probably working their way up the mountain and just probably coming across your base. But if you could get established here, this would be an amazing spot to build a base. A lot of stone, a lot of trees. There is a lot of ore and stuff around you as well. There's actually some mithril ore right there in front of us. So now let's move on to our next location. So here we are. This is location number 14. So here it is, location 14, like I just said. As you can see, there's the city right there. Now this spot is, again, a good spot. It's small, but you do have a water source up here, as you can see right there. It's remotely flat, so it should be pretty easy to build on. And if you build small, you can really have a lot of room for creatures up here. And the water source is a huge thing. Not many locations have their own water source like that, so that's already a big bonus, I think. And here is the path going down to get up here, as you can see. So basically, there's the Elf City. All you have to do is really just follow that lake right there, just work your way up this mountain, and you can find your way up here. And as you can see, there doesn't seem to be a lot of creatures that are spawning up here that would kill you, like the griffins and stuff. These rock elementals, rock golems, are like passive. They don't attack you unless you attack them type thing. But I just came across this location actually today, and I thought, man, this is a great location, especially for starters, man. It's be so easy to walk here and get started. So let's move on to our next location. But here we are, location number 15. Again, it's pretty close to 13 and 14. Now this location isn't the best location, but it is big. It's pretty flat as well. As you can see, there we go. It's just a big, like basically a big bowl, I want to call it. And then there's only like the one way, which is right there. That's the only part you actually have to wall off, and people can't get in here on land. Now when I say it's pretty flat, I should say it's kind of flat. This would probably be more of an area for people that want to build on pillars. I don't know how easy this would be to build on with foundations. So if you enjoy building pillars, this would probably be the location for you. And for reference, you can see there is the volcano. And our last location is just right up there. So let's move on to our next location. So we only have 3 locations left. Let's go on to 16, which is right there. So here we are. This is location number 16. As you can see, there is a lot of room to work with back here. It's very flat as well. You can build a very big base back here. And the only way to get up here, guys, is right there. That little road right there. That's the only way to get up here. So there really is a lot of room to work with up here. It's actually a really great location. Now, right over there, guys, you can get some metal right over there at that little peak over there. And you can head towards the mountain over there and get metal as well. Those seem to be the closest locations I found, besides the few metal nodes that spawn here. But just for reference, there's the volcano right there, and there's the big trees. If you get the big trees, you're pretty close, but this location is prime. I would definitely recommend building here if you can get here. So let's move on to our last 2 locations. So location number 17 right there. I don't know why it's showing it in the water. It's not in the water, I promise you. Now this location is big. There's a lot of room to work with. This will probably be better for bigger tribes, or like if you're on a high rate server, this would be probably the perfect place for you. You can see it has a natural little cliff right there that comes all the way up there. This is the only entrance is right here where we're going through right now. And you can basically just wall it off to that little rock right there and cut it straight across right there. And then you'd have all this room right here to work with, which is a ton. There's a lot of room to work with. It's very flat. You're right next to the water, right next to the coast as well. So if they ever do add like rafts or anything like that in the game, you could park it right there next to you. And the other good thing is you're right next to the volcano, which if you guys don't know, the volcano is one of the only spots where they actually spawns things that'll drop prime. Besides that, you can go to the snow or go like down by the human kingdom to get elephant kills. So this is location number 17. Let's move on to our final location. So location number 18. Now this is the only location, as you can see, that I actually thought was actually an okay building spot up here in the snow. Now it looks like on this map, it looks like I didn't really find anything in here, but this area is not as big as it looks on the map. Like from this location to this location is not that far away. And these islands are just not buildable. There's just no way you could actually survive on those islands. So let's go to our final location. So here we are. This is our final location, location number 18. As you guys can see, again, it's just some little cliff. It's very flat. There's quite a bit of room to work with, and I personally don't think many people would actually find you out here because you're on the edge of the map and on the edge of the snow. And honestly, I haven't really seen many people actually, at least from my tribe, actually go into the snow that much, especially at the edge of the map. So if you kind of want to tuck away and get away from people, this would probably be a good spot to come to. And all you have to do is travel up the mountain to get metal, which is not that far. It's not that far of a walk at all. So here we are. We are now back at the human city. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you found this video helpful, please guys hit that like button and also subscribe for more content. If you have any base location that you think maybe I missed or just wasn't able to find, let me know down below in the comment section, guys, so I can mark it on the map so everyone can know where it's at. So thank you for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video.